The ocean covers 71% of our planet. It holds 97% of Earth's water. And in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what happens if all of it, every drop, vanishes. Then I'm going to tell you the part almost nobody talks about, the part that isn't about water at all. It's about air. Let's get straight to it. If the ocean vanished right now, here's what Earth would actually look like. You'd see a planet split into two completely different worlds. On the surface, the seabed, an alien landscape of canyons, mountain ranges and trenches nearly 11 kilometers deep, suddenly exposed to open air for the first time in billions of years, and covering almost all of it, salt. The ocean holds an estimated 50 quadrillion tons of dissolved salt. Remove the water and that salt doesn't go anywhere. It's left behind as a crust covering roughly 70% of Earth's surface, turning the planet into a giant, cracked white and tan wasteland. Life in the ocean ends almost immediately. The ocean is home to an estimated 94% of all life on Earth by habitable volume. Everything from plankton to blue whales. Within hours to days, virtually all marine life dies from exposure, heat, and lack of water. And it doesn't stop at the coastline. Roughly 3 billion people rely on seafood as a major source of protein. Countless land species, seabirds, polar bears, coastal predators depend directly on marine food chains. Their collapse triggers a cascade of extinction reaching deep into land ecosystems within months. About 40% of the world's population lives within 100 kilometers of a coastline. Nearly every major city, New York, Mumbai, Tokyo, London, Shanghai, sits on or near a harbor built around ocean access. Global trade collapses instantly. Over 80% of world trade by volume moves by sea. Ports become useless. Shipping stops. Supply chains break within days. Here's the part most people don't expect. The rain stops. About 86% of all evaporation on Earth comes from the ocean surface. It's the engine of the entire global water cycle. Without it, atmospheric humidity plummets. Rainfall drops dramatically almost everywhere. Rivers and lakes that depend on that rainfall begin drying up within weeks to months. Most of the land surface starts turning into desert. So, the short answer, within days, most ocean life is dead. Within weeks, global trade and coastal civilization collapse. Within months, rainfall failure turns most of the planet into desert. None of that is actually the reason Earth becomes unlivable. The real reason is something almost nobody thinks about when they imagine the ocean disappearing. It has nothing to do with water. It's about what's keeping you breathing right now, and what's kept our planet's temperature survivable for billions of years. Let's go deeper. Here's a fact that surprises most people. An estimated 50 to 80% of Earth's oxygen is produced by ocean phytoplankton, microscopic marine organisms that photosynthesize, just like plants on land. They're often called the lungs of the ocean, but really, they're the lungs of the entire planet. If the ocean disappears, phytoplankton disappear with it, instantly cutting off the majority of Earth's oxygen production. Now here's the important nuance. Earth's atmosphere already holds a massive reserve of oxygen, about 21% of the entire atmosphere, so we wouldn't suffocate overnight. But that reserve isn't being replenished anymore. Combine that with wildfires, decomposition, and industrial combustion still consuming oxygen, and atmospheric oxygen levels would begin a slow, steady decline over years and decades. Not an immediate collapse, but a countdown nonetheless. The ocean isn't just a life support system, it's also Earth's biggest carbon sink. It absorbs roughly 25 to 30% of all human CO2 emissions, and has absorbed an enormous share of historical atmospheric carbon since the industrial era began. Without the ocean acting as a buffer, atmospheric CO2 concentrations would climb far faster than they already are from human emissions alone. That means a stronger greenhouse effect, trapping more heat in the atmosphere, even as the planet loses its single largest heat-regulating system. It's a double blow. More heat-trapping gas, and no mechanism left to remove it. This is where things get extreme. The ocean has an enormous heat capacity. Water absorbs and stores heat far more effectively than land or air. That's why coastal regions have milder climates than inland deserts, and why global average temperatures don't swing wildly between day and night. Ocean currents like the Gulf Stream and the broader global thermohaline circulation act like a planetary heating and cooling system, moving warm water from the equator toward the poles and cold water back again. This is a major reason why places like Western Europe have relatively mild climates despite their high latitude. Remove the ocean, and that regulation disappears. Without water to buffer temperature swings, Earth would start behaving more like the Moon or Mars, brutally hot days and freezing nights, with far more extreme seasonal temperature swings between regions. Deserts on Earth today already show us a preview. Without nearby ocean moisture, the Sahara can swing from over 40 degrees Celsius in the day to near freezing at night. Multiply that instability across the entire planet. Here's something almost no one considers. The ocean's weight is actively pressing down on the seafloor and the tectonic plates beneath it. Billions of tons of pressure, constantly. Remove that pressure suddenly, and geologists believe it could trigger what's called isostatic rebound, the crust slowly rising in response to the lost weight. Similar to what happens today in regions once covered by massive glaciers during the Ice Age. This kind of sudden pressure change across the ocean floor could also increase volcanic and seismic activity, since so much of Earth's volcanic activity, including massive mid-ocean ridge systems, sits beneath what used to be the ocean. Let's zoom back out to life on Earth, because this is where all these systems collide. Less rainfall means failing agriculture. A weakening oxygen supply means slowly thinning air. A runaway greenhouse effect means extreme heat. Increased seismic and volcanic activity means added disruption, on top of an already collapsing biosphere. None of these problems are isolated. They compound. A planet that loses its ocean doesn't just lose water. It loses the single system that was quietly regulating its temperature, its air, its carbon balance, and its geological stability all at once. Quick science note. Since this is technically a thought experiment, in reality, ocean water can't just vanish. Mass doesn't disappear. Scientists and writers who explore this scenario usually imagine one of a few mechanisms: the water being instantly vaporized into space, sucked into a hypothetical crack in Earth's crust into the mantle, or teleported away entirely as a pure what-if. Each mechanism would actually change some of the details. Vaporizing the ocean into the atmosphere, for instance, would create a catastrophic greenhouse effect and steam-cooked surface long before anything else happened. For this video, we're using the simplest version. The water is just gone, cleanly, so we can focus on what its absence does to the systems it was holding together. So here's the real answer to what if the ocean disappeared. It's not really a story about losing water. It's a story about losing the planet's life support system, its thermostat, its oxygen factory, its carbon filter, and its geological stabilizer, all wrapped into one. The ocean isn't just 71% of our planet's surface. It's the reason the other 29% is livable at all.
If losing the ocean does all this, what happens if the ocean level rose and rose instead and never stopped? That's next week's What If. Subscribe to IFverse, and I'll see you in the next timeline.